is rich, hot, and free. If you're the type of chick who says that she wants to expand and grow and stretch herself and go to her next level and make obscene levels of money, but no matter what you do, it seems like you're just running into this like brick wall of energetic resistance, or it feels like you're pushing this boulder up a hill no matter what you do, then today's episode is for you, because I'm going to be going through some sneaky sabotages that can pop up even for the most highly intelligent, highly capable, high achieving women that you might not even realize you're doing. And if you're experiencing this, then I imagine it's because there's some sort of disconnect between what you say you want and who you want to be, and then how you're showing up in pursuit of that on the daily. So in today's episode, I'm going to highlight 3 of those sneaky sabotages that I think a lot of women run into, at least the ones that I've worked with, the ones that I've supported, the ones that I'm friends with, the ones that I've connected with, and myself. Like, I have experienced all 3 of these every time that I'm stepping into a new level of my own expansion, or I'm stretching myself, or I'm stepping into a new frequency or a new level of my own self-leadership, or I'm pivoting or trying something new. So this isn't about shaming you. This isn't about making you feel bad or dumb or, any of that. It's about bringing awareness to the patterns, because once you see it, you can choose a different way of operating. So that's my intention with this. You ready? Let's dive in. So the first one is giving your power away to something outside of you. So this could be a coach. This could be a program. This could be a shift in the market. This could be money. It could be someone that you feel like you're in competition with. It could be your parents. It could be your partner. It could be your friends. It could be insert anyone here. The second you give away your power to something external, you abdicate your responsibility to create your own future, your own reality, and all the success, freedom, and growth that you say that you want. So what are some examples of how this could look? One could be relying on money in order to feel safe. Like, you only feel safe moving forward if you are making a certain amount of money. It could be relying on a certain tool. It could be relying on the right timing, or, giving your power away to certain circumstances or situations that you currently find yourself in. It could be needing permission, or thinking you need permission from coaches or peers or experts or consultants or your partner or your family or your friends, like searching for that external validation instead of creating self-validation and moving from that place. It could also look like letting your mood tank or not showing up with the energy your business requires because of, again, like a certain circumstance, or a launch not going the way that you want it to, or a funnel not performing the way that you want it to, or a piece of content not performing the way that you want it to. Like, letting anything outside of you dictate your mood or your actions or how you are showing up in your business is absolutely an example of you giving your power away. Another one, thinking that the perfect strategy or this new trend or this new hack is going to be the thing that gets you, quote unquote, there. There is no perfect strategy. Hear me when I say this. You are the strategy. It is you who makes it work. It's your power, your emotional intelligence, your self-leadership, your courage, your level of audacity and potency, the amount you let yourself be seen, the amount of uncertainty you can navigate at any given point. Those are the things that make the strategy work. It is not the strategy itself. It's you in your power going for it. And it's that frequency, that energy that makes any strategy work. So yes, my strategy might work, but that's because I'm fully behind it. Maybe if you don't like it, it wouldn't work for you. Maybe webinars work for you, but for me, I'm like, kill me now. You know what I mean? It's never about the specific strategy, and it's always about the energy and the magnetism and the frequency that you are operating in as you perform or do or set up the strategy. So it's you. It's you in your power. It's you in your courage. It's you in your audacity going for it and making it work no matter what. It's a decision you make. And anything outside of you has no bearing and no impact if you don't allow it to. So that's one way that you might be sabotaging your next level, is you are currently giving your power away to things outside of you instead of realizing that you're the thing that makes it all work. It's you in your self-certainty, you in your self-approval, you in your self-validation, you in your personal power, your self-leadership, and your emotional intelligence and courage and audacity and an energy of playing to win that makes it all work. Okay? So that's sabotage number one. Sabotage number 2 is ignoring the market. So this is one that I see quite often with women in the online expert space. So they focus on creating offers around what they want to create, not what the market is willing to buy. Okay. And I'm all for creating things you want to create. Of course, I'm all for creating the offers that matter to you. Absolutely. And also, one of the absolute fundamentals of business is following the market, paying attention to the market. What is the market saying? Are they buying that offer? If so, sweet. If not, then maybe there's something to look at. Is your positioning bang on? Are you speaking to the right people? Is your messaging as clear and direct and potent as it could possibly be? Are you hitting the right pain points? Are you helping people get the right, or not right, but their desired results, their desired solutions, their desired wins and goals and achievements? If your offers are not speaking to what people want, to what the market wants and where it's going, then no amount of creativity or strategy or traffic will change that. If the market doesn't want it, it probably won't sell. So again, this isn't about not creating what you want to create. It's about absolutely following your passion for sure, but just positioning it in a way that makes people think, oh my God, shut up and take my money. Like if you can get to a place in your offers like that, where people are reading your sales page or they read your hook or they hear you talk about your offer and they're like, shut up and take my money, or, oh my God, she just gets it. Or this is exactly what I need, or this is exactly what I've been looking for. That is positioning for the market and selling them what they actually want to buy. This is why messaging and positioning is so important, because if you can hit on the concrete pain points that someone is experiencing, or if you can highlight the problem or the solution that they're looking for, if you can help ease their frustration and their friction, and you can position your offer in a way that speaks to the market and where it's going, you will have zero problem selling your offers and printing money. But if you ignore that and you just focus on what you want to create in the way that you want to create it, and you talk about it how you want to talk about it, then yeah, you might miss the mark, because not everyone understands your nuanced take on it. Instead, you want to get into the head of your dream buyer and start understanding their nuanced problems, or what they're looking for solutions around. Like, what are their frustrations and what are the things that they're looking to solve? Once you tap into that, you can sell damn near anything, no matter the market. But it really is important to keep your finger on the pulse of what people are responding to, where there's hesitation, where there's friction, what their objections are, and then positioning or re-messaging your offer so that they understand that this offer is the solution to their problem, or is the gateway to the results that they say that they want. Okay? So just because you think it's a good idea does not necessarily mean that they're going to buy it, especially not in the way that you hope they will. Instead, that comes from powerful messaging and strong positioning around your offers so that you can speak to what the market wants and ignore everything else. Oh, and then one more thing I want to say about this is, like, you can have an offer that's just crushing, and then the market shifts or something changes or people's resistance kicks up a notch or something like that. And when you refuse to pivot or stay agile around that, that is when you can find yourself in a place of struggle or stagnation with your offers, instead of keeping your finger on the pulse and staying agile and being willing to reposition or pivot your offers in service of what the market actually wants, in service of what your dream buyer actually wants. And I think that's such a key focus here. I'm going to do a whole episode around dream buyers and like only speaking to them. And I talk about this in buyers as well. If you haven't picked that up, that is such an easy no-brainer offer to grab. It's $44. It'll walk you through the entire buyer first process. But my whole point is, when speaking to your dream buyers, you want to hyper focus on exactly what they want. This is why it's so important to understand your dream buyer in a nuanced, like hyper specific, hyper in tuned way. Because if you can pull out all the different frustrations or problems or pain points that they are currently struggling with, if you can answer the things that are top of mind for them, that feel the most emotionally charged for them, you can put any offer in front of them in a way that speaks to them and they'll get it like that. Okay, that is the power of understanding your dream buyer and catering your offers to them and positioning it and messaging it in a way that makes them get it and move on it. So a great question to ask yourself here is, am I selling this because I love it and because I think it works? Or am I reading the market and staying in tune with what my buyers actually want and creating something for them? Because once you get in their head and you create what they're actually looking for, the things that they're already ready for, that's when you drop into this whole new level of velocity with your sales, because people will see your offer, they'll hear you talk about it, and they'll be like, this is exactly what I need. Shut up and take my money. Once you click into that, it's like you don't even have a problem anymore. You'll run into different roadblocks around capacity and being able to facilitate bigger groups or whatever it is. But the front end purchasing of your program, once you really start to understand and read the market, that sabotage will no longer be a thing until the next offer, if you haven't learned this lesson by then. And then the third sneaky sabotage is playing to not lose. And what I mean by this is most people do this, to be honest, at some point at least. Most people play to not fail. And the reason they do that is because they're so worried that other people will see them fail, or other people will see them, quote unquote, lose. And then they get in their heads wondering, what will they think about me? What will they say about me? What are they going to believe about me? Oh my God, they're not going to think I'm good at this. And they allow that thought spiral to spin out of control, and it paralyzes them. Okay. So when you're doing that, you're not just protecting yourself from failure, you're actually keeping yourself from the amount of growth and success and freedom and momentum and self-expression that you say you want, okay? So here's a couple signs that you're playing to not lose, all right? You focus on making, quote unquote, enough to cover expenses or to pay yourself or to pay whatever, right? You never focus on overflow. You only ever focus on making enough. Now, maybe that's due to money habits you have or money blocks or whatever it is, but a surefire sign that you are playing to not lose is you are focused on making enough, okay? Another one is you're focused on showing up enough. Well, if I post this much, then I'm good. Or if I talk about my offer this many times, then I'm doing good enough. You know what I mean? Or another sign of you playing to not lose is soft pitching your offer or rushing your pitch. So many women do this. Okay, I just have to tangent. I have supported a lot of clients who get super excited for their pitch. They're all riled up and ready to go. But then the second it comes to pitching their offer, they drop their power. And what I mean by that is they either rush through a pitch or they operate in an energy of apology of like, again, you don't have to buy it, or if it's not for you, it's okay, or if you need more time, it's all right, or they drop their potency, they don't properly explain the offer, they rush their pitch, they don't want to take up too much time, they speed up how they talk, the cadence and the pitch of their voice, the tone of their voice goes up, and so they're always trying to make an apology for it because they want to be nice. You know what I mean? And so they get into this energy of like me, pick me, I'm sorry for selling you something. And that is the energy of playing to not lose. Another one, not holding boundaries with clients or team members or friends or families or people on the internet or your spouse or whoever it might be. Brenda from down the street, I don't know, like not holding your boundaries, not holding your standards is a surefire way that you are playing to not lose. And I typically think that's because you're nervous about what people will think if they see you standing in your power. What will they think of me if? What will they say about me if? Will they think I'm being a bitch? Will they think I'm too, self-centered? Will they think I'm too all about the money? Whatever it is, that's a surefire sign that you're playing to not lose. Another one, making safe offers or selling things that feel safe or don't stretch you or don't stretch your clients. Remember, your clients want to be stretched. They want to be supported. They want to create the results that they signed up to create. Like they want that experience. And by joining your offer, they're saying that they trust you to support them with that. And if you are creating containers that don't really stretch people and it just feels like, I don't know, like a bunch of encouragement calls and surface level tips, no one's going to join that the next time. Okay, so giving yourself the permission and challenging yourself to play to win in this capacity and create offers that stretch your facilitation, that stretch you as a leader, that stretch your clients and help them get the results and the wins that they want to get and the reason they're signing up for your offer in the first place. Another one is sitting in a thought spiral for days on end. Okay, so when I talk about this stuff, guys, I promise you I have been there. I feel like that's why I can rattle them off, because I played to not lose for so long in my entrepreneurial career. Okay, and I remember it so clearly. It was 2019 and I was in my head about something. It was definitely a launch. I'm just trying to remember which one. And now I'm like putting myself on the spot to be like, what launch was it, Jill? I don't know, but it was clearly not going the way that I wanted it to. And I remember Josh looking me like dead in the eyes and just so plain face saying to me, okay, well, are you playing to win or are you playing to not lose? And it was like, I could not unhear or unsee or unknow it the second he said that, because I realized in that moment, I was absolutely playing to not lose, because I didn't want I didn't want to fail, but really underneath all of that was I didn't want other people to see me fail. And so I would just stew in these disempowered emotions around, what will they think if? What will they say if? What will they do if I do this? Like, I just was so worried about getting criticized or being misunderstood or being judged or being called out or anything like that, that I dimmed my potency and I played to not lose. I would allow myself to sit in these disempowered thought loops, thinking that somehow that was going to motivate me to like get back into the game. All it did was zap my power, zap my potency, and had me showing up as a shell of myself. So if you find yourself in that, in a thought spiral like that, if you find yourself in a moment like that in your business, please know, one, it's normal. And two, that is you playing to not lose. Another one is not investing in your growth out of a fear that you'll lose money. How many of us have thought that? How many of you have stopped yourself from investing in something because you felt like, oh, well, I tried this before, but it didn't work. Or I joined something like that, but it didn't work and I lost money. It's like, no, that is actually impossible. Anytime that you sign up for something and you get one takeaway, you can use that over and over and over again, meaning you never lost money. You only ever gained wisdom and experience. Whether it's, wow, this really worked for me and I'm going to go and do this and create a massive amount of success, or this didn't work for me, or I didn't like this, or this doesn't feel aligned with me. And now I have more awareness around what I do want, what I don't want, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, how I want to operate, or how I don't want to operate. So it's never that you're quote unquote losing money. It's only ever, how are you showing up for the offer? And do you trust yourself enough to go all in and create the value out of the offer that you are investing in? Okay, so that doesn't even have to be like through a lens of like a coaching program or a course or something like that. But are you investing in the coaches or the experts or the consultants or the team members that would also help you reach your next level of growth? Or are you pumping the brakes on that because you don't want to quote unquote lose money? Another one is not fully putting yourself out there because you're scared you're going to be rejected or judged or criticized or chirped in the comments by people who don't even have skin in the game. You know what I mean? Like, so often we hold ourselves back from being all of ourselves or being seen at a higher level because we're more worried or intimidated or focused on the disempowered or negative things someone else might think about us, thinking that somehow their opinion makes it true. Their opinion means nothing about you if you don't choose to hook into it. Like, their opinion can just be passive feedback for you that you can either take value out of or just disregard completely. But the main thing is you are operating out of an energy of playing to not lose if you are not allowing yourself to be seen and really stepping up and sharing your value, sharing your work, sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge and your expertise with people who could use it and really get value out of it. So that's another way. Another one is not charging what you know your offer is worth. How many of us have ever set a price point that feels safe? Or that feels like, yeah, I think people would pay for this. Or maybe I should charge less so that more people buy it. That is you operating out of an energy of playing to not lose. That right there is like, I'm going to drop my price or I'm going to drop the value because I want more people to buy it. Instead of I'm going to focus on or double down on communicating the value or stacking it full of value and then charging what it's worth. And realizing that I imagine you would so much rather have less people in, but have the right people in at a higher price point than you would having a bunch of random people in joining something because it's cheap or affordable and then having to deal with the headaches that come with that. Listen, you are not fucking Walmart, okay? You are YSL, or you could be Nordstrom, or you could be, I don't know, what are the other... Damn it, Jill, I should have had other store options. It's just, the main point is you are not Walmart. You do not have to price like you're Walmart. You do not have to serve and sell like you are the Walmart of the coaching space or the expert space. You can set the offer, or excuse me, you can set the price point that feels like an energetic match to the value you provide in an offer and stretch yourself with it. Another one, watering yourself down so you don't trigger people. Hi, I'm Jill. I used to do this every day of my fucking life up until recently. I get this one so deeply. So I think I alluded to this in episode 0, the backstory, but I dealt with, or I navigated, or I experienced 10 plus years of very isolating, humiliating, degrading experiences with women and girls through like from the time I was, oh man, like 9 or 10 until 19, 20. So I get it. It can be deeply destabilizing and debilitating when you have a lot of people outraged because of who you are or how you move or what you look like or what you say. I get the temptation to water yourself down in service of avoiding criticism and judgment. Side note, well, no one's here to bring me back to this topic. I have to come back to my offer called Unfazed. So I'm going to try and plant a mental note in that. But truly, when you do that, when you dim your potency or you water yourself down in service of not triggering people, all you're doing is blending into the noise and you're becoming ignorable to the people who actually are meant to work with you. Think about the women that you watch online, or the ones that you can't stop buying from, or the ones that you just love what they do or what they say or how they show up or how they market or the content they create. Think about her. Got her in your mind? Now tell me, or I guess tell yourself, answer this for yourself. Do you watch her because she waters herself down? Do you pay attention to her because she's safe? Because she's palatable? Because she's nice? Or do you watch her because she's bold? Because she's audacious? Because she's courageous? Because she shows up with conviction? I guarantee you, the people that you can't take your eyes off online are not watering themselves down. They are showing up all of themselves in their full potency, full conviction, full courage. That is what makes them unignorable. And when you operate from a place of watering yourself down so you don't trigger people or make people mad or get people in their feelings in the comments, you are operating in an energy of playing to not lose, and that is one of the biggest disservices that you could do for yourself. I say this as someone who is also on the other side of this, just recently, truthfully. I feel like this has probably been one of the deepest layers of my own work for myself, is softening my resistance to being misunderstood or softening my fear to, I don't know, getting called out or getting judged or getting criticized or having people say mean shit about me or, I don't know, send me mean DMs or any of that kind of nonsense. I get how tempting it is, how appealing it is to water yourself down in service of avoiding judgment. And also, that is the shit that gets you ignored in this space. All right? Leaders are not watering themselves down. Leaders trust themselves to say what they want to say in their full potency, knowing that the ones who get it will really get it. And the ones who don't were never meant to join their world at that moment. Okay? So that's another sign that you're playing to not lose. Another one, overthinking shit for weeks instead of moving on something. Like when you know, you go. That's the move, okay? When you know something is right for you, when you know that This is the move you're meant to make, or this is the decision you need to make, or this is the conversation you need to have, or this is the kind of content you want to create, or this is the kind of offer, or this is the kind of sales pathway. When you know, you go. There's no more overthinking it for weeks, trying to like soften your resistance to it. Do what you got to do to get yourself in action and moving on your ideas, because allowing yourself to stew in it and overthink on it is what's slowing down your growth. If you truly want to grow the way that you say you want to grow, you would move faster. Which brings me to the next one, which is messy action. You are playing to not lose when you try to be perfect. You are playing to not lose when you try to get everything right. You are playing to not lose when you make sure everything's perfect, everything looks as good as it possibly can, all the boxes are ticked, there's no possibility of things breaking. It's like you spend way too much time. You should be taking messy action and getting shit out there in service of growth and alignment and getting your work out there in front of the people who need it. That is the energy of playing to win. So with that being said, what does playing to win look like? I just listed out all the different things that playing to not lose, or how to tell you're playing to not lose. Here's how you can tell that you're playing to win. You're putting yourself out there in a bigger way. You're allowing yourself to be seen in your conviction. Another one, you're showing up and making courageous moves in service of growth and alignment and the success and freedom and momentum that you say you want. Okay? Another sign you're playing to win, you're stretching yourself intentionally, consciously, courageously. All right? If you are not expanding your capacity operationally, energetically, emotionally, financially, you're staying the same. And staying the same is an energy of playing to not lose. It's an energy of coasting. It's an energy of trying to control the outcome. It's you white knuckling shit. Whereas when you allow yourself to play to win, you show up messy. You show up in your conviction. You show up all of yourself. You allow yourself to get it wrong so you can learn how to get it right. You allow yourself to make courageous moves, to try something new, to test a new messaging angle, to test a new form of content, to test a new offer, to test a new way of selling it, to test a new frequency in how you pitch. Another one, taking bigger risks. Now, I'm not saying you have to be reckless. I'm not saying you need to be all over the place and taking risks left, right, and center. Go at your pace. I cannot control this for you, right? This is a you thing. But as you grow, you have to take bigger and bigger risks. Okay? That's what it looks like to expand your capacity around uncertainty. That's what it looks like to expand your capacity around your own abilities, your own strategy, your own leadership, your own self-trust, your own self-belief, your belief in yourself that you can figure it out. That shit is a decision. It's a decision to take bigger risks in service of playing to win. Another one, making bolder asks. How are you going to get something if you don't ask for it? And often, the bigger the opportunity, the bolder your ask needs to be. Okay? I say this as someone who also needs to anchor into a new level of this for herself. I need to make bolder asks. Okay? I think going against or going along with the whole like being afraid of judgment, that's what in the past at least kept me from making bigger asks. Okay? Like I have coached some enormous people in the space and I have previously not asked for testimonials around that because I didn't want them to think I was quote unquote using them. But motherfucker, if I get someone amazing results and they're stoked about it, why wouldn't they want to talk about it? Why wouldn't they want to support in that? You know what I mean? And if it doesn't feel aligned, whatever, then it's like, at least I made the ask. You don't get something if you don't ask for it. And the bigger you want to go, the bolder your asks need to be. Another one, taking action before you feel ready for it. Taking intentional, messy action before you feel ready is the energy of playing to win. Okay? Prioritizing momentum over perfection is you playing to win. Rising into new levels of your own leadership, having harder conversations, raising your standards, tightening your boundaries, tightening your contracts, finessing who you work with, raising the bar of what it looks like to be in your world, that is you playing to win. Hiring before you're ready, that's you playing to win. Investing in your growth, that's you playing to win. Going bigger in your promotions, learning how to manage your emotions, learning how to manage your thoughts, learning how to manage your mental state, that's you playing to win. Becoming comfortable with a new level of uncertainty, that's you playing to win. Learning to trust yourself in the uncertainty, that's you playing to win. Going for bigger opportunities, bigger offers, bigger price points, bigger revenue, bigger profit, that's you playing to win. Ed Milet has this beautiful saying. I feel like I quote him a lot on this show, or will be quoting him a lot on this show because he has so many good one-liners. But he has this beautiful saying, and it's like, the quality of your business and life will be determined by how much uncertainty you can navigate at any given point. When you learn how to hold your power, even in the midst of uncertainty, or when things feel unpredictable, or when things feel a little shaky, if you can deepen your power in those moments, if you can learn how to lead yourself non-circumstantially in those moments, you win. And what I mean by leading yourself non-circumstantially is this. It's real easy to lead yourself when things are going well. Wouldn't you agree? Like, it's real easy to lead yourself when you have sales coming in, when people are loving your content, when your launches are crushing it, when your funnels are printing money. It's a whole other beast to lead yourself in that same lens when things are not going well. When sales feel like they're in a contraction, when things feel uncertain or uneasy, when you have people leave your programs, when you have people break contracts, when you have people chirping you in your comments, it's a whole other beast to lead yourself powerfully when those things are going on. And that is where playing to win comes in. You leading yourself from a place of neutrality and standards, like this is just how I lead myself no matter what's going on, that is you playing to win. And if you can tap into that, if you can forge that in yourself, which really just comes through experience and reps, really like you taking reps, you going to bat for yourself, you taking swings at it, you putting in the reps. That is how you build that. That is how you forge that level of leadership for yourself. That is how you forge that level of courage for yourself. You do it by putting in the reps. You do it by taking swings. You do it by being it. You become the one who plays to win by being the one who plays to win. You become it by becoming it. That looks like you in the ring going for it no matter what's happening. That looks like you leading yourself no matter what's happening. That looks like you moving with courage no matter what's happening. That looks like you managing your emotions no matter what's happening. That is you playing to win. And if you can tap into that, you will break through to a whole new stratosphere of your own growth, momentum, success, freedom, and wealth. And that is the vibe of what we're going for. So to wrap this up, I want you to ask yourself, if I was playing to win, what would I be doing differently starting today? Or maybe a better question, if you knew for sure that you were going to make $1 million in the next 12 months, what would you no longer do? And B, what would you start doing? If you knew with certainty that you were going to make $1 million and no one would be mad about it, no one would be upset about it, no one's life would be disrupted by it, what would you no longer be available for? What would you no longer do? And also, what would you start doing? Who would you be in service of that? Answer that for yourself. Actually, if you're feeling extra daring, I would love to hear what your answer is to that. Either drop it in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, or shoot me a message on IG at I am Jill Stanton and tell me what comes up for you as you answer that question. And if you're feeling extra spicy, I would love it if you would take a screenshot of this episode, post it to your stories, tag me, and share one takeaway that you got from this episode. What does it look like for you to play to win? And where have you noticed these sneaky little sabotages popping up in your business or in your life or in your relationships or with your money? I would love to hear what comes up for you. So thank you so much for joining me for yet another episode of Rich, Hot, and Free, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.